Yeah, hello. Today we will discuss the third part of a unit number 5, flow through pipes, for the subject fluid mechanics. The video of third part. Okay, so we are expecting to discuss the dimensional analysis, point dimensional analysis. So before that we should know what is dimensions and what are the units. Okay, so as you see here, okay, dimensions and units. So what is dimension is, it is a measure of a physical quantity without numerical values. Okay, dimension is a measure of a physical quantity without numerical values, while unit is defined as a way to assign a number to that dimension. Unit is a way to assign a number to that dimension. Here in the diagram you can see schematic. This is a scale with some graduations, the image. Okay, so here length, this arrow represents this much, represents the length. So it is a dimension is a measure of a physical quantity without numerical values. So length is a dimension. Okay, while a unit is a way to assign a number to the dimension. For example, length is a dimension, but centimeter is a unit. So 3.2 centimeter. So centimeter is a unit, and it is a way to assign a number 3.2 to the dimension, that is length. There are seven different primary dimensions in engineering and sciences. These are also known as fundamental or basic dimensions. Okay, so these are mass, length, time, temperature, then electric current, amount of light, and amount of matter. So these are seven dimensions. Out of these, four are widely used in mechanical discipline, that is mass, length, time, and temperature. All the non-primary dimensions can be formed by some combination of the seven primary dimensions. These non-primary dimensions are also known as secondary dimensions, and those are formed by combination of the primary dimensions. For example, dimensions of a force. Force is one of the physical parameter. Okay, and the dimensions of this can be written in terms of primary dimensions, that is mass into length upon time square, because we know the force is equal to mass into acceleration, right? That is the formula of a force. And mass into acceleration can be written as length per unit time square, because the unit is meter per second square for the acceleration. So for mass the symbol is m, for length symbol is l, for time symbol is small t. Okay, square. Now next point is dimensional homogeneity. Okay, so there is a law of dimensional homogeneity. It states every additive term in an equation must have the same dimensions. Every additive term in an equation, let us consider this equation. So all of these terms in this equation must have same dimensions. This is the equation of change of total energy of a system. This is a system at state 1 and its state changes to state 2. Okay, so during this change of state from state 1 to state 2, the equation for change in total energy is equal to change in internal energy delta U plus change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. Okay, so all these terms should have same dimensions, then only we can say this equation is dimensionally homogeneous. Otherwise the equation is called as dimensionally non-homogeneous. Here you can see the dimensions calculation of all of these terms, these four terms. Here these are calculation of the dimensions, which is known to you very well as you study in 12th physics. So all of these terms have units, have dimensions, meter, length square, mass length square divided by time square. Okay, m is for mass, L is for length, T is for time. So all of them have same dimensions. Hence the equation is called as dimensionally homogeneous equation. Also there are certain equations in the fluid mechanics, in the engineering, which might be dimensionally non-homogeneous. Okay, but they are used in a certain range of accuracy. Okay, you will find certain equations which are dimensionally non-homogeneous, but they have some uses in engineering applications. Coming to the important point called as dimensional analysis. In most of the engineering experiments, so as to save the time and money, the tests are performed on a geometrically scaled model rather than on the full scale prototype. Geometrically scaled model is either smaller in size or it might be bigger in size than your prototype. Prototype is the first product to the real size, to the real dimensions, okay, of a system. In such cases, care must be taken to properly scale the results. So we introduce here a powerful technique called as dimensional analysis. The three purposes of dimensional analysis are: first one, to generate non-dimensional parameters that help in the design of experiments, a physical experiment or numerical experiment, and in the reporting of experimental results. Now what happens is, a given experiment, it means a given physical phenomenon or a given fluid flow problem has certain physical parameters involved in it. Okay, so by using dimensional analysis, what we do is we club those physical parameters. Some of them are clubbed in a meaningful way, okay, in a meaningful way, so that it results in a term or a group which is non-dimensional. The parameters are clubbed in such a way that the entire group or the entire term becomes non-dimensional. Example is Reynolds number. All of you know formula of a Reynolds number, Re equal to rho Vd upon mu. So there is a clubbing of four parameters, rho V D upon mu, and it becomes non-dimensional. So it doesn't have any dimension. Second purpose, to obtain scaling laws so that prototype performance can be predicted from the model performance. Okay, so as to obtain this standard scaling laws, dimensional analysis is used. Third purpose, to sometimes it is used to predict trends in the relationship between parameters. Okay, so these are three purposes of dimensional analysis. What we do is we use uppercase Greek letter, that is pi. It is used to denote a non-dimensional parameter. Okay, pi term or a pi Greek letter is used to denote non-dimensional parameter, which is formed by clubbing the parameters involved in a phenomenon. In a general dimensional analysis problem, there is one pi that we call the dependent pi, giving it the notation pi 1 as a dependent pi. The parameter pi 1 is in general a function of several other pi's, which we call as independent pi's. Okay, so these other pi's are also non-dimensional groups of the parameters involved in a given physical phenomenon which is under analysis. So we have functional relationship between all these pi's, all these non-dimensional terms. So pi 1 is a dependent pi is equal to function of all the remaining independent pi's. So function of pi 2, pi 3 and so on up to pi k. Okay, so we come to the point called the Buckingham pi theorem. So question is how to generate the non-dimensional parameters out of the given physical parameters in a given phenomenon. So there are several methods that have been developed for this purpose, but the most popular and the simplest method is the method of repeating variables. Okay, so these are the steps of method of repeating variables. Step number 1, list the parameters, physical parameters in the problem and count their total number. Let us call them small n as a total number of parameters in a given physical engineering problem. Step 2, we list the primary dimensions of each of the n number of physical parameters. Okay, so we know there are 7 primary dimensions. Out of those, 4 are used in mechanical engineering. So you have to count, you have to list those primary dimensions present in this n parameters. Step 3, set the reduction j as the number of primary dimensions. Calculate k, the expected number of pi terms. K represents expected number of non-dimensional pi terms. So that is equal to n number of parameters minus the reduction j. Okay. Step 4 is choose j number of repeating parameters. These are the parameters out of our given parameters, n parameters in a given problem. So you have to choose j number of repeating parameters. Step 5, construct the k pi terms and manipulate them as necessary. Step 6, write the final functional relationship and check your algebra. Final functional relationship amongst this calculated pi terms, and you have to write the particular functional equation. Let us see this, the use of Buckingham pi theorem, the most famous dimensional analysis method, with the help of suitable example. Students can refer this detailed table which explains these steps in more details. Okay, you can pause the video and you can read it, all the steps. Let us move on to the numerical. Okay, so here we have a numerical. This is a setup for dimensional analysis of a ball falling in a vacuum. So here we have a ball which is falling in a vacuum. Okay, elevation z is a function of time t, initial vertical speed W naught, initial elevation Z naught, and gravitational constant G. Here you can see this is the initial elevation Z naught of a ball, which is measured from the datum plane. Okay, W naught is initial vertical speed of a ball along Z direction, so that's why W component of velocity, and this is by default the presence of gravitational acceleration in the negative Z direction. Okay, so the instantaneous elevation Z of a ball, this is instantaneous elevation at any point of time, is a function of the time t, then function of a vertical speed W naught, initial vertical speed W naught, then function of a initial elevation Z naught, and it is also a function of gravitational acceleration G. Okay, so we come to this step number 1, list of relevant parameters. So in this given function, in this given example, there are total 5 parameters, n equal to 5. Which are those? This is the elevation Z, the real time elevation Z, which is a function of other 4 parameters. So Z is dependent parameter and these are independent parameters, but we count all of them as total 5, n number of relevant parameters in a given physical problem. In step number 2, we write down the dimensions of each and every term. So Z is the elevation, so its dimension, its unit will be meter. Okay, so dimension is length raised to 1. T is the time, so its unit is second, so dimension is time. W naught is a velocity, its unit is meter per second, so meter per second means dimension is length per unit time. Z naught is initial elevation, unit meter, so dimension is length. G is acceleration due to gravity, unit will be meter per second square, so dimension is length per unit time square. Then step number 3 is deciding the reduction. So reduction factor is J, that is equal to 2. So how this is written? J equal to 2. Here you can see J is equal to 2. How this is written? This is written as per the dimensions present over here. So if you see this row, there are only 2 type of dimensions present. One is length, the other one is time. Okay, there is no mass m, so that's why there are 2 dimensions amongst all these primary dimensions. So J is equal to 2. So number of expected pi terms will be k, that is equal to given number of parameters n minus this J, reduction J, that is 5 minus 2 equal to 3. Okay, so there will be 3 pi terms. Then step number 4, we decide repeating parameters. Repeating parameters are chosen from a given set of independent parameters. Dependent parameter is not considered, not taken as a repeating parameter. Out of the independent parameters, you have to choose the number of repeating parameters. Now the number of repeating parameters is equal to J. So there will be 2 repeating parameters. So W naught is a velocity and Z naught is a length. Okay, 2 repeating parameters. So step 5 is to write dependent pi. Dependent pi is written as pi 1 is equal to. What we do is, first we write repeating parameters. So W naught raised to a1 into Z naught raised to b1. a1, b1 are exponents of a repeating parameters multiplied by the remaining parameters one by one. So first is Z. Okay, this is how pi term is written. Then we do calculations of a these exponents. So these are steps for calculation of exponents a1, b1. How? Say dimensions of pi1 is equal to, pi1 itself is a non-dimensional term, so L raised to 0, t raised to 0, that is equal to this entire formula. And let us write the dimensions. So for z dimension is L raised to 1, for w naught it is the velocity, so L raised to 1 t raised to minus 1 raised to a1 the whole bracket, z naught is the elevation, so length, so L raised to b1 component b1 exponent. Now what you have to do, go one by one. For dimension time, okay, equate the exponents on left hand side with right hand side. So exponent of time on left hand side is t raised to 0 is equal to exponent of time on the right hand side, so that is t raised to minus a1. Okay, so therefore writing only the exponents, so 0 is equal to minus 7, so therefore a1 exponent is 0. Similarly equate for length dimension, so L raised to 0 on left hand side is equal to, on the right hand side we have L raised to 1, so L raised to 1, L raised to 1 and again a1, so L raised to a1, there is L raised to b1, so here we have L raised to b1. Then equate the exponents on left hand side, right hand side, so 0 is equal to 1 plus a1 plus b1, okay, but a1 is 0, so therefore b1 is equal to minus 1 minus a1, so that is equal to b1 minus 1. So let us put a1 equal to 0, b1 equal to minus 1 over here in this formula. So we get this formula of a pi1. So pi1 is equal to z upon z naught by putting a1 0 and b1 as minus 1. So z upon z naught. Okay. Now similarly we do the calculation of independent pi terms. So first independent pi term is pi2. That is equal to the repeating parameters w0 in raised to a2, then repeating parameter z0 raised to b2 exponent, and multiplied by the remaining parameters. So after z we can write t as a time. Okay, then doing the same calculations for a2 and b2. Okay, repeating these steps. So a2 is 1, b2 is minus 1. So put this a2 b2 here in this formula. a2 is 1, b2 is minus 1. So therefore pi2 is equal to w0 into time upon z0. So this is second pi term. Okay, putting a2 and b2. Similarly do the calculation for second independent pi term, so that will be called as pi3. So pi3 is equal to repeating variable w0 raised to a3 into z0 raised to b3 into next parameter, that is g, acceleration due to gravity. Do the same calculations for calculating the exponent a3, b3. Here we get the values a3 as minus 2, b3 as a 1. So put this 2 here in the earlier formula, a3 as minus 2, so w0 raised to 2, b3 as 1, okay, z0 raised to 1. So this is our third pi term, that is g z0 upon w0 square. Let us modify this. We can modify a given pi term pi3 as pi3 modified, okay, taking the exponent minus 1 raised to 2, 1 by 2 on the right hand side. We can do this. These are the rules of pi terms. So this is equal to w0 upon root of g z0. w0 is velocity divided by root of g is acceleration into z0 is a length. So this is the formula of a standard formula of a non-dimensional number called as Froude number. Fr represents Froude number. So standard formula of a Froude number. Also you can see this these important notes, okay, regarding exponents, regarding the pi groups, regarding the repeating parameters. Last step is step number 6. we write relationship between the given pi terms. Those are total 3. So that is P1, dependent pi term pi1 is equal to function of a remaining independent pi terms pi2 comma pi3. So let us put pi1 z by z0 is equal to function of a pi2 omega w naught t upon z0. Pi3 is w naught root divided by root of g z naught. Okay, so this is our final functional relationship between the given parameters involved in a given physical problem. The problem is of the ball falling in the vacuum, okay, and it has these many parameters. So these parameters are clubbed in a meaningful way so as to form limited number of non-dimensional parameters. So we have formed 3 non-dimensional parameters. Final result of dimensional analysis can be written as a non-dimensional z. Z asterisk means non-dimensional is equal to function of time as a non-dimensional and Froude number. Okay, make sure make a note. The method of repeating variables cannot predict the exact mathematical form of the equation. Here we have not got the exact mathematical form of the equation. What we got is just the functional relationship. What is the independent function parameter and what is the independent parameters and what is the dependent parameter. You should also see your pi terms should be dimensionless. So verify that by doing some calculation, simple algebra. Also you should note a parameter that is already dimensionless in a given problem becomes a pi parameter all by itself. Any parameter that is dimensionless, example is angle. For example, angle doesn't have any unit and dimension. So angle is already a non-dimensional pi all by itself. Okay, so we know this pi without doing any further algebra work. This is how we can use Buckingham pi theorem or Buckingham pi method as one of the important method of dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis is used to club the parameters involved in a given physical phenomenon in a meaningful way. Okay, thank you.